Welcome back to another episode of There's the Bell. Max Hawkins here with you, and I got my good buddy, my co-host, Cody Butler on the line with me. Cody, how you doing today on this fine Thursday before Good Friday, before Easter, man?
Doing good, man. Got work day out the way, ready for a 3-day weekend.
Absolutely. I know you are ready, man, especially with that hard work you've been doing. I'm ready, too. I'm ready for Easter, Easter Bunny. I hope he brings me some of those Reese's Easter eggs. That's what I'm really looking for.
I like those. I like Butterfinger eggs better.
Hey, I'm a Butterfinger guy, too. Look, man, it's good to talk to you. This is going to be a good week for us because we're finally back talking about a lot of MMA. You know, the past two shows we did were very wrestling-heavy focus. We did a preview of WrestleMania where we gave our predictions and everything. Obviously, after WrestleMania and the fallout with The Undertaker's retirement and all the other stuff that went on, we had to talk a lot about WrestleMania. And but now we're here to talk mostly MMA. We're going to touch on a little bit of wrestling, but UFC 210 was this past weekend. We watched it together at Bubba Love's back patio.
Yeah.
And it was a good night, weird card. A lot of strange things happened, a lot of things that out of nowhere happened. Anyway, man, before we get into it, we have to talk a little wrestling news, though, because it was still a pretty big week for WWE. They did the Superstar Shakeup. Wrestlers from SmackDown went to Raw. Some wrestlers from Raw went to SmackDown. We got a pretty good shakeup, and I'm liking it, man. The product's hot right now.
Yeah, I think the biggest move to me is Charlotte to SmackDown.
I do, too.
I think that's really going to elevate the whole women's division over there, and they highly need that.
The women's division seems a lot more even than it once was. You got Charlotte, who I think is the top woman in the world, over on SmackDown now, with Becky Lynch. Tamina came back, who I know you're a fan of her. And then you had Alexa Bliss go over to Raw. Of course, you still got Bayley, Sasha Banks, Nia Jax, all those gals like that. So,
and to me, I think Becky Lynch is your second women's wrestler.
Yeah, she's really good.
I think her and Charlotte are going to put on a hell of a show.
Mickie James went to Raw too. Man, Mickey's pretty as ever.
She is.
A couple of other moves since we're already talking about it. From SmackDown to Raw, you had The Miz go over, Dean Ambrose come over, Bray Wyatt come over, Alexa Bliss that we just mentioned. But those three names are huge. Miz elevated himself to a whole nother level this year. Ambrose is always a popular guy, but it's kind of been stuck on the SmackDown scene for a while, so it's nice to see him come back over to Raw. And, of course, Bray Wyatt is going to be intriguing wherever it goes. You just have to book him correctly. But Bray Wyatt on Raw it just creates a whole different scenario of dream matches that he can have with Finn Balor, Brock Lesnar, and there are a ton of them.
Who would not want to see Bray Wyatt go up against the Beast Incarnate for the Universal title, man? That would be a hell of a match.
I've wanted to see it for a while now. Over to Raw. Over from Raw to SmackDown. So these superstars are going from Monday night to Tuesday nights. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Charlotte, like we mentioned her, The New Day. Some big names right there.
Yeah, definitely some big names. I think this kind of makes everything better on an even keel. Because if you look at it, star power was really on Raw, but SmackDown was getting better ratings. So, they had to do something. That it was a better written.
Yeah, it was a better written show, too.
Yeah, I think the shakeup will do a lot of people good.
So, still some big names stayed put. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, those guys are still on Raw. Obviously, a big rumor was that AJ Styles was going to move to Raw, but he stayed put at SmackDown, too, which I think is a good move. AJ has been the face of that brand since he moved over there, so why change a good thing right now,
And that might be just for now also.
Yeah, still want to see him mix it up with Brock Lesnar too, man.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about Superstar Shakeup, another superstar who went from Raw to SmackDown was Jinder Mahal. Now, normally, what the hell are we talking about Jinder Mahal for? But this week on Raw, Jinder Mahal put a pretty stiff elbow to Finn Balor, and Finn Balor actually has a concussion now.
You gonna get me started again?
I'm kind of trying to, man. Me and you have talked about this a few times before we got on the podcast, and we both know that you are just a big fan of Jinder Mahal. But,
I'd rather watch... I shouldn't say what I was about to say. I'm not a fan of his, to say the least.
Man, Jinder Mahal is... I agree with you, man. He's kind of reckless sometimes. Anyway, but this really isn't the main story. Finn Balor has a concussion, so he's going to be out for a little while. Not too long, though. Of course, concussions are always scary, though, because who knows what they can lead to down the line.
And I understand if you're hitting a spot, you're coming off, doing outside, tables, stuff like that, chairs. You got a possibility that nobody should have to take an elbow and get a concussion.
Yeah, forearm to the head. Yeah, simple as that.
And those two should never be touching, ever.
Yeah. Well, what they have is going to be a squash match, just a way to get Finn on the show, have him squash Jinder Mahal, which he went on to do. Jinder took the coup de grace right after that. But, yeah, Jinder Mahal, you got to think he's already got a thin rope as it is because he's not really doing much for the company other than just jobbing to these guys. So hurting one of their top stars like Finn Balor probably doesn't do him any favors.
Like you and I were talking, like I remember when at Fastlane when I was watching that match with him and Cesaro, he knocked the shit out of Cesaro and looked like he put him out for a minute. And Cesaro kind of played it off and finished the match, but I think it was kind of the same thing except Cesaro didn't fall.
Yeah. Well, Finn fell and hit the mat, and you could tell he had mat burns on his face and just kind of looked really dazed and confused. But anyway, I hope Finn Balor, wish him the best and hope he recovers quick. Don't rush him back into the ring. Of course, we know WWE won't with those concussions. They're pretty careful about that.
I hope Jinder Mahal goes away forever somewhere. Goes hide in a cave.
Well, he's on SmackDown now, so now he can mix it up with Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, John Cena, all those guys.
I'd love to see Kevin Owens just beat the hell out of him.
Let's move on to another topic before I get you too stirred up. Last piece of wrestling news. This is something that's been going on for a while. We just hadn't really touched on it because it's been kind of one of those things that I don't know, just put on the back burner. But a lot of new information is coming out now. Mauro Ranallo, the SmackDown play-by-play guy since when? Huh? The brand split, huh?
Yeah, that's when they started.
Yeah, really the number one from the fans' perspective, the number one play-by-play guy in the company right now. He is
I think the number one guy in combat sports.
Yeah.
Overall.
He is reportedly not returning to the WWE after suffering his latest bout with depression. He's been very notable in the past, being very open with his mental illness. He has bipolar syndrome. He suffers from depression. And but recently rumors have come about that maybe his latest bout with depression, and I'm saying allegedly because we don't know anything and Ranallo hasn't come out and said anything, but there's been rumors and speculation that it's due to JBL, who is his broadcast color commentator, his partner, kind of bullying him. And I put bullying in air quotes because, again, we don't know what bullying is. All this is allegedly. And, yeah, kind of giving him a hard time. And JBL's been known to do that in the back, though.
Yeah, this is not the first time you ever heard of him doing that. He's been doing that his whole career.
Yeah, and, numerous people you've had people that come out and say, JBL's been really a bully backstage and hazed guys like The Miz and Justin Roberts and Joey Styles. But then you got a whole other crew who respect the hell out of JBL because he's a company guy, and Vince kind of likes that because he's a tough guy too.
Well, you kind of get into it like this: if you're a wrestler, you expect to get hazed. You know what I mean? That comes with territory. You're a rookie, you're gonna get hazed, just like football. Same thing. Baseball, same thing. If you're a commentator that's not a wrestler, never been anything but a commentator, he has no business messing with him. You know what I mean? That's like picking on the smart kids at school.
And they said there was this thing on the WWE Network where Ranallo and JBL and somebody else were sitting down. They were all talking. It was kind of like an interview type thing. And Ranallo sent out a tweet saying thank you to the people who granted me. He won the Wrestling Observer Newsletter's Broadcaster of the Year award.
And rightfully deserved.
Right, rightfully deserved. And JBL was kind of giving him shit for that, for basically going out of his way and kind of acknowledging the dirt sheets and stuff like that, kind of calling him a mark in that sense, So they're saying that might be kind of what it stemmed from too. But, WWE's got to be really careful with this because they've taken such a stance in the community and stuff like that about this anti-bullying campaign and all this and that other stuff. And now JBL, one of their most loyal superstars and guy who's been with the company forever, and he's a fixture on the program. He's a commentator. He's getting all these accusations and stuff like that. I mean, how long does this have to go on before something is done about it?
I think something has to be done about it. Got to be.
And I like
JBL.
JBL.
Especially at running those campaigns like they do. You know, they play that video 10 times at least when you and I went to SmackDown.
They can't be hypocritical, you know.
Huh?
They can't be hypocritical.
Exactly. I mean, you make yourself sound like you don't give a shit about it, but you're running a campaign about it that, I don't know.
Well,
they got to do something about it.
And it sucks because I'm a fan of JBL's. I like JBL.
I never. Like I said, I understand hazing a wrestler, but this poor guy, man, he's there to do his job, and he's a hell of a commentator, and JBL might have felt a little threatened by him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, could be. And, you know, the last thing I'm going to say about this, because, again, it's all alleged. It's nothing that's – nobody's really – Morrow hasn't come out and spoken about it yet, so we can't confirm.
Won't.
Yeah, he might not. But I do know this. At Boston this past Tuesday in SmackDown, fans were chanting "Fire JBL," and there's a video going around with it. So yeah, numerous fans expressing their displeasure with that. One last thing on commentating, real quick. We didn't touch on this on the last podcast, but I wanted to talk about it real quick. How great was it to see JR, good old Jim Ross, back at the commentating booth for WrestleMania?
I loved it.
And
he's one of my all-time favorites.
He's the absolute best, the best guy that's ever stepped behind that booth with a microphone. And, you know, considering what all he went through in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania with losing his wife, and, you know, it was just really good to see.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
You didn't? Yeah, man, his wife got into an accident. She was riding her bike and got clipped somehow and fell and hit her head on the concrete. And a couple days later, she was on life support. A couple days later, she succumbed to her injuries. They took her off of life support and she passed away. Yeah.
My God.
It was really about a week and a half before WrestleMania. So to see JR come back and, you know, to see WWE give him that opportunity to, you know, call a match on WrestleMania, and I'm sure The Undertaker kind of requested it because The Undertaker has a lot of respect for JR, and he probably wanted him to call his last match. But JR has signed a 2-year deal with WWE. Now, it doesn't entail how many dates and stuff that he has to do, but I'm assuming he's going to do the big things, SummerSlam and stuff like that, and you'll probably see him back in the you'll probably see him back in the commentating booth before long.
I love it. I hated to see him go when he left.
Yeah, you know, it was a kind of a shitty situation, but let's move on to some UFC news, man. UFC 210 was a strange event, as we've talked about, and we're going to break down the card and talk about everything that's happened since then. And I got at your house about 15 minutes before the main card started, so I didn't really get to see much of the prelims. Do you want to talk about any of the prelims before we break down the main card?
I watched the last prelim fight, and I couldn't even tell you who it was.
It was one of those nights. A couple of beers, a couple of cups of vodka and water for me. But let's start at the beginning. Charles Oliveira defeated Will Brooks by rear naked choke in the first round.
And dominated him. The last time he fought, he lost to Anthony Pettis. And this was his first fight at 155, and he looked very dominant at 155.
Yeah, he looked good.
He had a lot of health problems in the past.
He looked good, and you mentioned after Will Brooks lost, this might have been his last fight in the UFC. He's been kind of on a losing streak lately.
Yeah, and it's all been against tough opponents. I mean, he's gotten a hard ride for his first couple fights, and I want to say he's fought 3 times, and I don't think he's won a fight yet.
So, good news for Charles Oliveira. Will Brooks, hang in there as long as you can, man. That's all we can say about that one.
Yeah, because he's an exciting fighter. They need to keep him around, give him another shot, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Thiago Alves defeated Patrick Cote via unanimous decision, and really wasn't even close. All three judges scored about 30-27. But the big news
Yeah.
coming afterwards is Patrick Cote retired. He left his gloves in the middle of the ring. He said this was it, and he's done.
Yeah, he had a hell of a run. You know, he was a title contender when he was young. And he left the sport for a while. I'm not sure where he went. But he came back and he was doing good until he ran into Cerrone. And Cerrone dominated him. And then now he's standing there like a punching bag for Thiago Alves.
Yeah, man, that was the first time I've seen Thiago Alves fight in a while.
I watched him fight Condit when Condit broke his nose, and it was ugly.
Yeah.
Condit beat him up pretty good.
Thiago Alves he challenged Georges St. Pierre for that welterweight championship of the world at UFC 100, and he never really reached that level again. I don't think he ever had another title shot after that.
No, he hadn't.
Yeah, so it was good to see him get a win, but who knows where he goes from now. Just got to keep on winning.
Yeah, and he can do it. Man, welterweight division is wide open.
Yeah, it is. There's no clear number one contender to Tyron Woodley's belt. So, but Patrick Cote, wish you well in your retirement because you earned it. You were a warrior in the ring.
Yep, enjoyed it.
Cynthia Calvillo defeated Pearl Gonzales by rear naked choke in the third round. This one had some controversy leading into the bout. Pearl Gonzales has, well, I'll just come out and say it. She has fake tits. And
Breast implants, Max. You got to be completely correct.
Well, we're not all that formal on this show sometimes, especially when you talk about Jinder Mahal. So,
yeah.
She has breast implants. And the New York State Athletic Commission at first said that they weren't going to let her fight, but then said they were going to let her fight, and the fight was still on. Anyway, it was a big to-do because it was happening Friday, the day before the fight. So, but nevertheless, they fought, and Cynthia Calvillo won. I don't know much about either of these fighters, though.
I recognized her after I saw her face. She is a Team Alpha Male fighter.
Calvillo is, right?
Yeah. She had a first-round win, I want to say, on 208 or 209. And she's looked good in both fights she's fought.
Now, this was a strawweight matchup?
Yeah, strawweight.
Okay, so this will be Joanna Jędrzejczyk, her division.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she's ready for that, but
no.
A few years, she'll be ready. Unless she does like Paige does, man. Paige wins a couple fights in a row, and then she'll lose.
Paige Van Zandt's talking about. Yeah, I don't know.
Alpha male fighter.
Yeah, another alpha male fighter. Yeah, maybe they fight each other down the line.
I don't believe. You can't fight teammates, man.
Well, that's what got T.J. Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt hot at each other.
Yeah. I'm waiting on Garbrandt to destroy him coming up.
I don't know, man. That's going to be a good fight. What is that? Is that bout already set for a UFC card?
Yeah, they said the other day. I can't remember which one it
212,
is.
213, something like that?
I want to say 213.
Is it the one? It's not the one in Dallas, huh?
No,
because that's 211. That's the one in the American Airlines Center, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a bout right there. Yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about this. Pearl Gonzales, keep those things safe next time.
She looked good too, man. I'll be honest with you. She for her debut.
Yeah, it was a good fight, and it was one that ended in the third round. It wasn't like Cynthia Calvillo.
Very entertaining fight.
Yeah, it wasn't that she completely dominated. Probably fight of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's up there with them.
That I saw, yeah. Here's where we get into the weirdness. Gegard Mousasi and Chris Weidman. Where the hell do we begin?
Well, Gegard was stuffing the takedowns, and Weidman was panicking. And I think when that knee hit him, Gegard was winning the fight, and when that knee hit him, he thought he was down. He said, "Oh, maybe I can get a breather, recoup, let him cool off a little bit, and we'll start this thing back over." But what he wasn't banking on was that his hand was up, which makes it a legal knee. And you got the doctors in there checking on you and everything else. Well, doctor called the fight, and it's over with. Instead of you to just kept fighting and not trying to take advantage of the system and the rules that are in place, you might have still fought and he had a chance to knock him out. You know, because Weidman's always got a puncher's chance.
Yeah. Let's back this up. Let's back this up a little bit. Chris Weidman has lost. Going into this fight, he had lost his last 2 fights. Last 2 fights, huh? This was 3.
Yeah, you're right.
This was 3. Yeah.
You're
Going
right.
into this, he had lost 2 fights, both very brutal. He had lost the first one to Luke Rockhold after he was bloodied and battered after that, and that was whenever he lost his middleweight belt. Then he had lost to Yoel Romero, which was almost a year later, back in November, to a brutal and vicious knee.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, and maybe that's why he had his hands on the ground in this next one, because he didn't want to get that knee again. But like you said, they were fighting, and I thought it was a pretty good fight leading up to this. I mean, I think Gegard was probably, like you said, winning, but I mean, I don't think it was a runaway. Chris Weidman went to take him down. Gegard stuffed his takedown. Whenever he did, he also hit him with a knee, a very brutal knee. But whenever it happened, Cody, we both looked at each other and thought it was an illegal knee, because it damn sure looked like it. So what happened was referee Dan Miragliotta paused the fight for what he believed was an illegal knee, because it looked like that. Like you said,
He gave him 5 minutes.
Yeah, he gave him 5 minutes to recover. When your hands are both on the ground, you cannot knee someone in the head. That's the rule. It turns out Miragliotta went to Big John McCarthy and said he needed an instant replay to see if the knee was actually legal or illegal.
Well, no, there's not an instant replay. He went out the cage, John McCarthy. He can talk to John McCarthy, is what I gathered from it. And John McCarthy told him he looked at the replay and it was legal. Tell him to go with it. And by the time he told him that, Miragliotta walks back in there and tells him to go with it. The doctor's already looking at him. And when the other doctor called the second doctor in, and they called the fight.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, if this fight was happening in Vegas, it would not have got called, because, you know, New York is new to the MMA scene, and, you know, they've had one card in there, UFC. This is the second one. This is at Buffalo this past Saturday.
Right.
So, I mean, the commissions were all screwed up from the jump at the weigh in, and then with the Pearl Gonzales breast implants, and
yeah, it was
down to this.
It was a very bad weekend for the New York State Athletic Commission. But this is how confusing this whole situation is, though, Cody, because even me and you are still confused as to we're not totally agreeing with what we thought happened, because they did the replay, and the replay clearly showed that it was very, very close, but it was not an illegal knee. It was legal. Weidman's hand came off of the ground at the last second, and
Mousasi pulled him up.
Yeah.
And then they're saying that Mousasi can't pull him up. Somebody said that. I think one of Weidman's coaches was arguing in the corner.
Well,
if he can pull him up and knee him when he's trying to go, well, why are your hands down? You know, don't take advantage of the rules.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure about that. That doesn't sound very accurate, but, you know, I'm not totally sure about that. Well, then, but do you know that at first they came back and I thought they called the fight because there was an error, because someone kept saying the New York State Athletic Commission does not use instant replay. That was illegal. They could not use the instant replay to go back and rule that it was a legal knee and not an illegal knee.
That's what they're saying. They wouldn't let Miragliotta look at the tape. But
Right.
John McCarthy can tell him, this is what I saw. It's legal. Go with it. And that's perfectly fine. But Miragliotta himself cannot look at the replay.
Okay, that's what I was confused about. But since then, the New York State Athletic Commission has come out and said that they can use instant replays. But you might be right. The actual referee might not be able to look at it. The side ref, which was Big John McCarthy or something.
Yes, they called it something the other day. I can't remember what it was. But John McCarthy was acting as that. They gave it a title, which, you know, kind of like he can look at it, but the actual referee.
Kind of how it is when in college football, when you review a play, the actual referee doesn't look at it. They look at it upstairs in the booth, and then they decide.
Yeah, you got to call into the great state of Alabama to look at the replay.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the physician was checking on Weidman the whole time. Well, I guess when Miragliotta came back and said it's an illegal knee, I mean, it was a legal knee. It's time to fight. The physician was like, no, he can't continue, which Weidman was clearly dazed, because that was a hard-ass fucking knee.
Yeah. But I've seen guys dazed harder than that come back and win a fight.
Yeah. We both wanted to see the fight continue. Weidman, after the fact, said he wanted to keep fighting, which, I mean, obviously he would say that. Gegard Mousasi even wasn't pleased with how the whole thing went down and said that he wanted to keep fighting. He'll give him a rematch. But you are right. Weidman did do that on purpose because he actually said in post-fight press conference, I thought my hands were, I put my hands on the ground. I thought it was an illegal knee.
Yeah, okay. He was trying to get a breather. You know what I mean?
Right. Which
that's a lot of energy out of you shooting all them takedowns.
Yeah.
He was coming at him from all different angles trying to get him down and couldn't. You're taking exhausting a lot of energy there.
Mousasi has since said that he will give Weidman a rematch, but he kind of called Weidman out and kind of said the thing that you just said. He's like, I mean, you did it to yourself, bro. Like, I'll fight you again. I'll fight you again. But yeah, like, don't try to say what you didn't do was kind of, you worked within the rules, but it was kind of shitty on you. You did it to yourself.
Yeah, and he's 100% right.
Right.
And Mousasi has over 50 professional fights. He's trying to get in there for a title shot. And the guy is a phenomenal fighter. He really is.
Absolutely.
He's caught with that spinning back kick to Uriah Hall. He has been dominant in the UFC.
Which I think he would beat Uriah Hall if they fought today.
They fought again after that, and he killed him. But, I mean, that's the only last fight I remember him losing. And it was a freak thing. He was going up beside him. He had him on a run. And Uriah Hall just threw that kick out of desperation and caught him right in the mouth with it. So, I mean, like,
Gegard Mousasi is definitely a freak. I, of course, am a big fan of Chris Weidman, but, I just don't know how much more he has to go. He has said he's going to try to appeal this loss, but I don't think I don't think anything's going to happen with it.
I think they fight again, the same thing happens.
Mousasi.
You know what I mean? He can't take him down, so what's he going to do? Stand up and get... Because he's too slow to punch with Mousasi.
Yeah. Dana White actually came out...
up on the feet. That's why he was trying to go for the takedown.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I thought he would be able to take him down if he got a hold to him, just because of how much bigger I thought he was than him. But
I thought he could be able to take him down. I didn't know if he could keep him down.
Turns out he couldn't take him down.
Yeah.
Dana White actually came out and voiced his displeasure in this and said, the New York State Athletic Commission, they're new to this, but they have to get this stuff right. We can't have this anymore.
They do.
Yeah.
He's exactly right. But that's how you work kinks out. I mean,
yeah.
It's the kind of stuff happens.
Well, another controversial moment leading up into this bout was the main event. Daniel Cormier defending his light heavyweight championship against Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Hold on a second before you start this. Let's go ahead and tell what the prediction record was at this point.
Let's see. At this point, you were 4-0 against me. I had not won a prediction. You had won 4 of them.
Okay, that's all I want to hear you say. All right, continue.
Okay, who won the next one? Who won the championship bout? It don't give a shit if you don't win the championship, brother. Hey, I kept telling you though, you should have really put your bets on this fight though.
Yeah, I know. But if I'd have picked them, they'd all went the other way, so it really doesn't matter.
Right, so.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, Anyway, so leading up to this fight, they go to weigh in. Rumble Johnson weighs in. He makes weight. DC. he goes to weigh in, and he's what, 1.2 pounds or 2 pounds or something like that overweight.
I think it was 1.2 pounds.
Yeah, so he steps off the scale. I don't know all the rules to this. How long do they give you to make the weight?
Now I really couldn't tell you.
Because
used to, they gave you like an hour, I think.
But New York State, is it per like state, like the Las Vegas and New York State Athletic Commission, they might have separate rules. Is that correct?
Yeah, it varies state to state.
Okay. Well, anyway, however much time he had to come back, they tell him, go get this time to get the weight off. The dude comes back in a minute and a half. A minute and a half or like 2 minutes or something like that. And weighs in, strips naked. They hold a towel in front of him, weighs in, and makes weight. A minute and a half later.
Yeah.
So coming into this was already a kind of a just like a what the hell thing. John Jones, of course, continuing his feud with DC. He just loves the guy. Has since come out and said, DC standing there with that towel, naked, is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
John Jones trying to work up a program
Then he
right
told
there.
him that him pushing down on the towel was the most dirtiest thing he's ever seen in MMA.
No, the most dirtiest
gotta be
thing
kidding me.
I've ever seen, and John Jones doesn't have. I'm not going to even go there. John Jones doesn't have any room to be talking about what the most dirtiest thing in MMA is.
He's the Jinder Mahal of MMA.
Except he's way more talented. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's talented, but he's still a piece of shit.
Anyway, so this we both had different opinions on this. Rumble Johnson, I think, was favored by a lot of people to win this fight. But that's not what happened. DC goes in there and does what he always does. He imposed his will on Rumble Johnson and choked him out in the second round by a rear naked choke to retain that light heavyweight championship.
And after it was over with, we found out why. But during the whole thing, I was thinking to myself, and I think I told you too, that he's not fighting like Rumble usually fights. You know,
No.
he's trying to wrestle with Daniel Cormier. What are you doing? Why are you clinching with Daniel Cormier?
That's what I was going to bring up next. Why would he actually initiated the clinch that would ultimately lead to DC choking him out.
Yeah.
He initiated
Which
it.
is stupid because that kick broke DC's nose. If he'd have stood up with him, he might have beat him.
Yeah, DC can't throw hands with Rumble. I mean, he could for a little while maybe, but that's Rumble's. That's his best area. That's his strength. His stand-up game.
Yeah.
Wrestling is DC's stand-up. Wrestling is DC's strength. So why would you initiate a clinch? But anyway, so he choked him out. Anthony Rumble Johnson surprised the hell out of people afterwards and retired in the middle of the ring, though.
Definitely caught me by surprise. I think it was piss poor that his coaches left him in there by himself.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he called for him, and they were already gone to the back.
Yeah, that's a pretty shitty thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, you've been by this guy for so long, and now all of a sudden, his retirement speech, he wants you in there, and you haul ass. That's bullshit.
What's next for
Maybe
Rumble?
they wanted to be his moment. Now, I get that. Maybe they didn't want to be in there for that. They want to let him have it by himself. But tell the guy so he's not sitting there calling for you like a little kid lost his mom in Walmart.
That doesn't even really make sense to me because the moment is clearly on him anyway. Nobody would give a shit if the coaches were standing around there.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants them there, they need to be there for him. Bottom line.
What's he going to do next?
I have not heard. They say he's played for the LA Rams, and then somebody says a front office job with the LA Rams. Somebody said it's something to do with the LA Rams. And somebody said it's football related.
Football related, huh?
He said it's not the LA Rams. So I don't know what it is.
Is he going to try to play football? Like, is that what they're saying?
I don't think. To me, I think he'd be a strength coach somewhere.
I think he would make a great commentator on Fox, too. He's very well spoken.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think that might be an option for him.
I think you probably see him back fighting again for us over with, to be honest with you.
Well, I hope so because I'm a fan of his. But, whatever he wants, man.
Yeah, I've been a fan of his for a long time, ever since he first started.
So
I'd like to see him retire like this. I'd like to see him get a belt before he left.
Yeah, I would have liked that too, but I'm glad DC won.
I'd like to see him beat the shit out of John Jones. I figured that was happening.
Speaking of John Jones, we may not know what's next for Anthony Rumble Johnson, but we can take a pretty good guess what's next for John Jones and Daniel Cormier. It looks like they're destined to do it again, man.
Well, you say that, but you can't put Daniel Cormier, John Jones in the main event anymore. He's too unreliable. So who do you put them co-main eventing for? Ronda's lost her draw, and Connor's trying to box Floyd Mayweather. So who do you put him in the main event? Let him co-main for? Dillashaw and Garbrandt?
No, I mean Jones and DC is the main event for me. I mean, you can put it. It's the same thing as UFC 200. You can say whatever the hell you want is the main event. The main event was Brock Lesnar and Mark Hunt. It was technically the co-main event because it went on second to last, but it was the main event. But I see what you're saying 100%. You can't rely on John Jones. And DC, kind of called him out after that because he wants that fight again so bad. And Jones was sitting ringside and, he kind of nodding and stuff like that. I think John Jones can come back in July.
Yeah, but at least a week after International Fight Week. So he won't make it for that.
Yeah, he won't make it for that. Well, I mean,
I can tell you this. If John Jones comes back like he did after his last layoff, and fights like he did against Owen St. Preux, Daniel Cormier will dominate him. Like it won't even be close. He looked like garbage in that fight. Ring rust is a real thing. I don't care how good you are.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see that coming up with St. Pierre.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. George St. Pierre versus Michael Bisping is what he's talking about.
Yeah, I definitely think you'll see that coming up.
Maybe it's the co-main event for that.
Could be. But still, all in all, I mean,
do you think
I wouldn't care if they fought first on the main card. That doesn't bother me at all.
Do you think they fight again?
Yeah, but I think John Jones, they're going to put him in a tune-up fight first. If they put him straight in there against Daniel Cormier, Daniel Cormier's going to smash him.
Interesting. Well, man, any more UFC news, MMA news you want to talk about? I think we just about covered it for UFC 210.
Yeah, I'm good. Also, we talked about Pearl Gonzales again. Dana White said the fight was never canceled.
Yeah, he did. He tweeted that out.
Yeah, he said that they looked up the boxing rule, and that's the rule on boxing, not on MMA.
So the New York State Athletic Commission just messed it all up this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they were kind of flowing stuff together, putting boxing and MMA together, and it's a whole different sport, a whole different set of rules. So, I mean, they'll get it together in time. They've only had 2, events there. It'd be good. And
it's important for the UFC and MMA to expand into New York because it's such a big market. So here's
a lot of fighters from there.
Right. Here's to hope that they do get it right. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
I'm good, brother.
LSU baseball plays tonight. They've been kind of up and down lately. They've been pulling wins out of their ass everywhere.
That was a hell of a comeback that last Saturday night.
Yeah, and we weren't even watching it.
Yeah.
I looked down at my phone. I said, well, shit, LSU won 10-8.
They were down 8-1.
Yeah. They play Ole Miss tonight. Alex Lang will pitch. They play Ole Miss Saturday. And then on Sunday, Jared Poche will get the start tomorrow. Eric Walker to start Sunday. He's been pretty impressive. So, come on, Tigers. Keep it up. Y'all can do this.
Road to Omaha.
All right, man. I think we just about covered it. I'm not even going to ask you for a hot take because you kind of had your fill of it with Jinder Mahal. So, we'll just leave it at that.
That's every time you say that guy's name, I get like that.
Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Jinder strong.
Jinder's a bitch.
All right, man. You can follow us on Twitter at There's the Bell 17. We're trying to get those Twitter followers up. We only have a certain amount right now. I want to get that up before I just completely do away with that Twitter account because I do want to have an outlet on Twitter. But obviously, you can catch more of our stuff on our Facebook page, There's the Bell, with Max Hawkins and Cody Butler. Cody, you always say it.
Let us know what you think. If you like us, you hate us, whatever, leave us a comment. Let us know something.
Like, subscribe, do whatever you got to do. We'll be back hopefully next week with more MMA news. Share, yes indeed. Share. Everyone have a happy, safe Easter.
Happy Easter to everybody.
Kudos out.
Later.